All right, ladies and gentlemen, time to get started. We have quite a few things to talk about today, all important. So, this session may not be overly long, but I figured I wanted to do this as a stream rather than a video so that way we could touch on any other topics concerning these. So, let's go ahead and begin, shall we? Let me just make sure everything's on the up and up and my face isn't too bright, but it doesn't look like it is. Now, I'm sitting kind of close. I need to see. Let me raise my webcam just a bit. I'm constantly adjusting this thing. Perfect. Okay. Head is right there. But there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my discussion on how to be safe. Specifically about fires, how to deal with them, how to deal with when you're in a tornado situation, and how to deal with earthquake situations. Now, there's quite a bit of info that is going to be helpful during this entire talk, simply because the reason why we're having this talk is because I recently learned that there are some people in my community who are not properly prepared for such an event. Not prepared in any way because one of our members, apparently, they were never taught what to do during an earthquake situation simply because where they're from, earthquakes don't really happen. So, learning about how to deal with these situations in school was literally a non factor. And it had me concerned. The moment I saw that, I was thinking, wow, you mean to tell me there are people out there that don't know how to deal with these situations and are not taught this at all? Like maybe they learn it a little bit later on in life, but you mean to say that there are people out there who are not adequately prepared or at least mentally prepared on what to do when certain things happen? So I kind of wanted to do this because it's very important for us to be safe out there because there's been a lot there's been a lot of seismic activity all over the world, way more than I ever seen. There's been so much activity in just the first couple of weeks of this year alone. Volcanic activity, seismic activity, all across, Asia and over on the other side, on the California side of America, on the western side of the United States. It's really just spread all over. And it had me concerned because there's many of you who may live in these areas where these things tend to be a recurring thing. And I'm of the mind where I just want everybody to be safe. So, I wanted to have this talk so that we're adequately prepared for any events that happen concerning natural disasters or even things that may happen in the home, such as a fire breaks out. There's different types of fires, like electrical fires, gasoline fires, flammable curtains or clothing, any number of things. Even for me, because recently, and the reason why this is also an important thing is because recently the laptop that I've been using for quite a while, the battery gave out and almost exploded. And for anyone who has ever seen a battery explode before, mind you, so I'm really just running my laptop off of my AC adapter. I don't have a battery in it right now because I had bought one before, and then the one I had before that exploded, it apparently it just gave out all of a sudden, despite the fact that I have my settings made so that it doesn't constantly charge. Therefore, the battery isn't always warm from constant charging. It's still inflated. It popped to the bottom of my laptop, and then smoke came through the vents. And for like a day and a half, it just smelled like battery. Now, thankfully, it did not explode and set anything on fire. Otherwise, we probably would not be having this stream right now because my laptop would be destroyed. Um, so I just thought that it's very important. It's very important that we speak about these things and how to be prepared. Designs. I am prepared for doom. My despair is long since accepted. Are you prepared for your doom? Bit of a If you're saying you're prepared for your doom, your despair is long accepted. uh, like I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but just know that it's probably something you should not be either looking forward to or just casually accepting. Maybe it's just me, but it might just be me. But we're talking about natural disasters, just things that just happen to happen. Um but yeah, I just wanted to have this discussion because not everyone knows. Holster, good to see you as well. Not everyone knows how to deal with these particular situations. Now, mind you, this will also be a learning segment for me because I don't know in and everything on how to respond if such a thing occurs where either a fire breaks out, a tornado happens, and where me and my family are right in the brunt of it, and we were kind of dangerously close one year, and what to do during the earthquake, of which I was actually in one time, but it was just like very, very minor. It was like many years ago, maybe like 2014, 2015. There was like an earthquake that happened while I was in the Walmart because I was in the Walmart and I was reading and I just felt the ground just shake underneath me. Mind you, it wasn't heavy shaking, nothing knocked over, but I felt the ground shaking underneath me. So I've been the only situation I have been in where the house was on fire was, well, a fire breaking out in my house. Well, actually, you know what? No, no, I can't say that because a fire did in the house that I'm living in because one day we forgot that there was a pizza box from Pizza Hut inside of the oven, and we had the mind to cook some breakfast. So popped the we just turned the oven on and put it on low broil. No, 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 no. It wasn't low broil. It was 450, and we just forgot about it. Then next thing I know, I hear my mom and sisters yelling downstairs, "Kill, kill!" And they're screaming. And I come downstairs, and the pizza box that was left inside of the oven was in flames. Mind you, it wasn't big flames. It's just the box itself was on fire. But it did not spread. Thankfully, thank God, it did not spread through the rest of the oven. Now, I just took some oven mitts, just a oven mitt, and I was telling everyone, "Calm down, it's all good." Now, mind you, I've never dealt with any sort of fire in my house at all in my entire life of living. Not even a fireplace or anything close to that. So I was I just took the box, and mind you, it was raining outside, so it was very convenient. I took the box after calming my family down because they've never been in that situation before where a fire looked like it was gonna break out. So I take the pizza box, I walk through the garage, still on fire, and then I open up the garage, and then I just plop it outside. Mind you, it's raining, so it's helping, but then I just take a cup and then I just run some water over the box, and then it just puts out the flames, and then I just put the box inside of recycling so we don't need to worry about it anymore. That was the closest we ever came to like a fire breaking out in the house. And ever since then I've always thought that, huh, I wonder what life would have been like if I had a fire extinguisher. Thankfully, for you guys who sent me stuff through Throne, you also surprised me and sent me some fire extinguishers as well. I didn't know anything about it, but I just want to say thank you to all of my Throne gifters. Because you guys have sent me a lot of stuff, but those fire extinguishers and the fire blanket that you guys have sent, I just wanted to say thank you. It is definitely going to come in handy, but hopefully I only say this rhetorically. I'm not saying that it's going to come in handy when a fire breaks out in my house because I'm not accepting that. I'm not claiming that, and I want to make sure that such a thing doesn't happen. If something catches fire in the oven, you should turn the oven off and keep the door closed. See, here's the thing. Didn't know that. I learned that. I'm just now learning it. Now, mind you, we did turn the oven off, but we didn't leave the box inside because I felt like if it was already on fire, it's probably a bit of a liability. So I took it outside. My instinct was to get it out of the house. get the fire out of the house. And since then, I I always look inside the oven whenever it gets turned on to make sure that we don't have anything left in there. If we get pizza and we are going to be eating it the next day, we take the pizza out and we put it inside of a container that can go inside of the fridge rather than keep the pizza inside of the box. So we never run into that situation again. Fire needs oxygen, and if the oven is closed and off, there won't be any circulation of O2. Thank you. I learned something new today. See, I told you this was going to be a learning experience for me. So that I did not know. Now, here's my question, because this is going to be a back and forth between us for people who know and for people who don't know. So this is the perfect place to ask questions. When it comes to a fire inside of the oven, how long would it normally take for the fire to dissipate if it's off? Like, is it a safe idea to use a fire extinguisher on an oven while there are flames inside? Or would that make the situation worse, given the fact that you would need to open the oven for the flame for you to spray in there, and that'll just give the flames more oxygen? Because I'm also thinking that if the oven is on, the coils are still going to be hot from the amount of heat that caused the fire in the first place. So would the fire extinguisher coolant do anything adverse to the oven by spraying it in there while those coils are hot? That's what I'm wondering. And this might actually be something we look up. Actually, you know what? This might actually be something we look up. It will greatly depend on the fire extinguisher. So if I happen to have like a small one, probably not best to use that kind. It's probably better to use like the full size one with the handle and the hose, the classic fire extinguishers. Because I imagine that the smaller the can, well, not smaller the can, but smaller the canister for the fire extinguisher, its strength varies greatly on its size and therefore its effectiveness, right? I wanted to be sure. You know what? We're going to turn this into a semi-interactive. It depends on the grade of extinguisher. All right, we're going to turn this into a bit of a react. I thought I was going to be talking to you guys solely about this stuff, and it's just you and me, but I feel like we need some visual aids as well. So let's see. All right, we're going to do this. I'm going to get the little image up on the side. I haven't used like my video side of things for quite a while, so I probably need to. I wasn't even intended on using it, but I feel like this is very important for us to look into, which means I need to put chat off to the side on my phone so I can see what you guys are saying still. Also, this is completely off topic, but isn't it crazy how that game High Guard has yet to say a single word and the game releases in a week? And the only people to say anything about the game was the Game Awards reminding people that High Guard drops in a week, but not the studio itself? I find that very suspicious. But let me pull up chat right here while I'm pulling up these web pages. Thank you, American Red Cross. National Weather Service for tornadoes. And of course, with the earthquakes, we also got some personal knowledge from someone who's well versed in seismology. Our resident seismologist Rox, who has enlightened us with the various degrees of earthquakes and how best to respond to them. So I'm going to read through what he says once we get to that entire segment. And I can't spell how today. Thank you for being patient with me. This is a spur of the moment thing, but I feel like it's best if we get this information in. All right. Let's see. You cannot use a water-based fire extinguisher on an electrical or grease fire. It seems like anything water-based to put out anything electrical is already flat out a bad idea. That's just how I see it. Wow. I'm right here in front of my mic, but it feels like I am gotta adjust this again. There we go. Okay, so I can lean back. There we go. Okay, I'm not touching my camera anymore. I'm not touching it anymore. I've been messing with this thing for the past week and a half because I'm trying to get it in that sweet spot. But now that it's right here, it's perfect. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Delicious foods. We're doing this live because I can't switch to the other screen and make it seem like I'm doing everything professional because it's just going to show me flipping through the screen. Now, let's see. All right, cool. So, and hold on. Types of fires. Let's see. Apparently there are different classes. There are different classes of fires. So I'll put that over here. All right, cool. Types of fires, and there we go. All right, so that way we all can see. Good. All right, now it feels like a more professional seminar about safety. Yes, we're doing it live! It depends on grade of extinguisher. There are different grades, normal, gas, electrical, etc. You cannot use a water-based fire extinguisher on an electrical or grease fire. So, here's what we have. So, types of fires. Not all fires are the same. Some burn faster and are more dangerous. And most importantly, not all fires can be put out or suppressed the same way. Now, if I remember correctly, the reason why firefighters can only do so much for what type of battery is it? Electrical batteries? I think it's electrical batteries is because putting out the current flames of an electrical battery doesn't mean that battery isn't going to go back up in flames, because I believe there's a type of battery that if it explodes and sets on fire, it is fully capable of reigniting itself even after being momentarily extinguished by firefighters. And I think that's the reason why some firefighters are not too big of a fan of putting out electrical battery fires. I think lithium batteries. Is that the one? If it's lithium batteries, then yeah, that's exactly the battery I mean. That's the same battery I mean. Yeah, lithium batteries, even if they explode, the same kind laptops use. Exactly, which is why when your battery explodes or gets close to exploding, you cannot simply put the battery in the trash, because that battery still has the capacity of exploding and setting fire to the trash inside of a garbage truck. You need to take the battery to a specially designated place like either Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever there's a hardware store where they professionally put that stuff through and destroy it so that it doesn't cause a fire. And last thing you want to hear is a garbage truck got set on fire the same day you put your trash out, and it just happens to be the same garbage truck that went through your neighborhood. You don't want that. So, this is a service announcement. To avoid battery-related fires, especially lithium batteries, do not put them in your trash, because all it takes is for the wrong amount of pressure to ignite something in that battery while it's being mashed inside of a garbage truck, and then all of a sudden you got a fire inside of the garbage truck. And it would probably suck if the garbage truck notices this and dumps all the trash out on the road, and you're trying to use the road. So it is definitely a concern. And my thing is, I wonder if they investigate what happens. Because if they do, and it gets found out that that belongs to you, you probably might be liable. But I'm just going off in way left field here. But it's very dangerous to put a lithium battery inside of your trash and then have that trash be mashed up inside of a machine where it can potentially combust and explode and cause even more damage to something that doesn't even belong to you. So now that's on your conscience. But yeah, just long story short. Not all fire. Understanding the different types of fire classes can help determine how best to prepare in case of a fire emergency. Fires are divided into 5 classes: A, B, C, D, and K. I think we're just skipping over a whole bunch of letters here because we're just going from D to K. D, K, not Donkey Kong. That are primarily based on the fuel that is burning. This classification system helps to assess hazards and determine the most effective type of extinguishing agent. So, classes of fires, we have Class A. This is the most common type. Combustible such as wood, paper, cloth, rubber, trash, and plastics. So, if you're in a house, got a fireplace, that's a Class A fire. Not like a gas fireplace, but an actual classic fireplace where you have to throw wood inside. Or maybe you have a wood cook stove where you need to put wood in there. Or maybe you have a fire pit. Anything that can combust with wood, that counts as a Class A fire. Clothes that get set on fire, cloth that gets set on fire, paper that gets set on fire, rubber and trash and plastics all qualify as Class A fires. So, with paper and cloth, here's the thing. My family has a lot of candles. We rarely use them though, simply because of this. Simply because of Class A fires, because all it takes is for us to put a candle in the wrong spot, and because we've seen way too many fail videos. We've seen, and speaking of fail, Kitty, you did propose that to me one time. We've seen too many videos of things being set on fire by things that are too close to open flames. We've seen way too many of them. We've had final destination levels of I don't want to see this happen at all in my home where we have candles, but we don't light them. Regardless of how good they smell, we are apprehensive of lighting any open flames in our house. We already got upgraded fire systems because we got an upgraded security system that came free with it. But even so, we are very apprehensive of opening any flames in the house. We have no matches. I can't even remember if we have one of those instant lighters where you pull the trigger and it's like on a long black nozzle and then it puts an open flame. I can't even remember if we have that anymore because we never use it. We never get birthday cakes with lit candles. We rarely light any. We don't. I can't say even rarely because we never light candles in our house because it's not that we're scared of fires. It's just that we're incredibly cautious. We're incredibly cautious. If there's even a 0.01% chance that this could lead to loss of life or loss of furnishings or loss of home, we're not gonna mess with it. We get like the electrical bulb, we get like the lamp, we get like the candles that have like the flame shaped bulbs, and that's it. Or we just use flashlights or whatever, just in case the power goes out or whatever. We just use other means for light, but we don't use candles. We don't do candles for anything. We don't light no incense. We don't have no candles in the bathrooms when people are chilling and taking a bath or anything like that. We ain't that fancy. We're not that fancy. We don't do stuff like that. So when it comes to having any open flames in the house, we don't ever. Cuz we just consider it too hazardous. Too hazardous to our health and too hazardous for anything that we got. Because we got quite a bit of cloth in our house. We got a lot of furnishings, pillows, drapery. My mom's an interior designer, so she designs the house to be very, very detailed. And we have quite a bit of, like pillows and blankets and stuff that add to the overall look of the home. And it looks great, but we don't keep open flames anywhere because any and all of that could go up. We just don't do that. So class A fires we just straight up avoid. Rubber, trash, and plastics. I'm trying to think of what could classify and what things could get instantly ignited because of rubber fires. Because I'm so used to wood, paper, and cloth, and trash. Obviously, trash. You can't just like smoke in your house and then put the cigarette out and then just throw it in the trash and it has like, like tissue or cloth or rags in there. And then an assortment of different things that can also be combustible. And then you just have a trash can that is just literally set on fire. So that I can understand and see. But rubber and plastics, I'm trying to think of. Have the plug-in smellier things. Ah, nice. Tires on cars going too fast. Yeah. So you see people drive these fancy looking cars and then they just spin out their wheels and you see the smoke coming out of it. That is literally a telltale sign that your wheels are moving so fast that it's capable of catching on fire. And mind you, there is documented videos of people literally setting their cars on fire because they spun out their wheels and burn out their wheels, spinning them in place, and they literally ignited their wheels and ignited their chassis of the car itself. There are plenty of videos out there of people doing that. And I've never understood that because one, you're literally burning and grinding the treads of your vehicle just in an instant, just trying to show off. Because and here's my thing, I've never understood that. I never understood the appeal of parking in place, revving up your engine, and then spinning out your tires just for them to just grind into the ground, leaving black marks on the ground because that's what's left of your tires. And then some people going as far as to basically burn out their car tires and also put their own cars at risk because they have their cars so close to their chassis. And then if they're not careful, if the car is not properly tended to, setting fire to the actual car itself. Because fires are not just specific to houses. It is literally everything. So everything that we're going through with Class A fires, which include wood, paper, cloth, rubber, trash, and plastics. Rubber is tires. Tires is rubber. So they can catch on fire too. Not to mention the money. Yeah, you're burning literally through your tire just to show off. And in some cases, it winds up costing you way more money because then your car gets set on fire because you want to literally heat up your wheels from the constant rotation and therefore put your own car at risk, either by shorting out and burning out your engine, which is another fire altogether because that's Class B, but also burning through your tires to the point where they get so hot that they can literally combust. No one in this world is Ghost Rider. He's literally the only person who can get away with with his vehicle tires being on fire. Literally the only person. But everyone else, stop messing with it. But we also need to touch on how to approach fires, especially if there are pets and people in the way of a fire. Right. We're going through the classes of fire right now. How to deal with them is here. And then we'll break off into like different topics concerning all of these in accordance with how to approach fires. Now, first of all, unless you're a professional, probably should not be approaching any fires. Just saying, I don't care how big or how little it is, unless you know what you're doing, do not mess with it. That's obvious. But going back through the classes, and I won't spend too much time here because it's a light. Choose the right type of extinguisher. Ooh, this is helpful. This is helpful. This is very helpful. Okay, let's go through the classes. So we already did Class A. These fires involve common combustibles such as wood, paper, cloth, rubber, trash, and plastics. Class B include flammable liquids, solvents, oil, gasoline, propane, butane, paints, lacquers, and other oil-based products or petroleum-based products. So, yeah, if it's oily, if it's greasy, if it leaves like a strong smell behind after it's already done dried out, more than likely, chances are it's flammable. This includes sprays as well. You know how it says, keep away from an open flame? You ever see people take a can of aerosol spray and then put it in front of a lighter, and then when that flame is lit, they spray the flame and the flame just shoots out bigger than the small one it was before? Because everything inside of your air freshener cans is flammable. If it leaves a scent behind, either strong or moderately strong, chances are it is capable of igniting. Lysol is capable of igniting because it's a spray. Tons of sprays are capable of igniting. Let's see, gasoline. Obviously, a lot of people like to put gasoline on a brush fire, or like piles of wood out in the field and set that on fire. Oil, obviously, oil is incredibly flammable because we've seen it. What happens when oil gets out from like an oil rig, and you set that oil on fire? It can literally set the sea on fire, which is crazy when you think about it because oil doesn't mix with water; it just sits on top of it. So it could literally set the sea on fire if enough oil is out there. So oil, incredibly flammable. Flammable liquids, just like I said, aerosol cans, uh, anything that is basically, I want to say anything that you would normally see in a hardware store around grilling or around backyard maintenance, or maybe backyard grill maintenance or whatever. More than likely, it's flammable. Oil's crazy scary? Yes, it is. The consistency of oil is such that you could pour like a whole thing, and I mean like the like just classic oil, classic black oil. It won't sink into the water, it won't mix into the water. It'll just sit on top. So if a lit match goes off, someone sets fire to it, that oil will not just evaporate. It'll just burn. It'll just burn almost endlessly. And of course, it also has an effect on the water because it's literally heat on top of the flame, on top, just being supercharged by the oil. Oil is scary. Oil is very scary when, especially if a fire gets involved. And whatever it latches onto, it will become one with it. Because oil is also very difficult to get out. So imagine a car coated in oil. That car will be burning for a very long time if left on its own. Plus, oil is a very concentrated fire reactant. So if you light oil on fire, it will not take long for all of that oil to go up. It's not a slow burn. It's almost instantly reactive. It just spreads incredibly quickly. So, yeah, flammable liquid, solvents, oil, gasoline, propane. Propane is also a big thing as well because you've seen it in movies, you've seen it in all sorts of different things. If a propane tank explodes, it doesn't explode with like basic regular shockwave type pressure. No, it can explode with fiery pressure as well because it is also flammable. Butane, don't know too much about butane, but I feel like it's in the same vein as propane. Butane, it seems the same. Paints, paints are flammable because it's basically like another type of oil. It's literally just colored oil. It's literally colored oil. Lacquers and other oil-based products or petroleum-based products as well. Petroleum jelly, that's flammable. You know, the same petroleum jelly that they tell you to put on yourself if for medical purposes and whatnot, that's also flammable. It's also the same type of petroleum, the same type of petroleum that you would see people and actors and stunt people get coated in if they're doing a movie and they have to show a person literally being lit on fire. They use petroleum because petroleum takes a while to burn. Now, mind you, it can burn, but it takes a while to burn all the way through, which is why there tends to be kind of sizable takes when a person is lit on fire in a movie, is because they're using petroleum to not only protect the person, but also because it gives a good effect of that person just being completely cloaked in fire. There are many examples of people doing that in the for stunt work. It's very dangerous because that person has to be completely covered and coated in petroleum so that while they're on fire, the fire isn't also eating straight through the petroleum itself. Class C fires. Old wiring and space heaters are common causes for residential Class C fires, which involved energized electrical equipment such as wiring, controls, motors, machinery, or appliances. And they use for women during an ultrasound. Yeah, they use petroleum jelly for women who are going through ultrasounds. Who knew that that same jelly is capable of combusting as well? But Class C fires. This falls into the line of electrical fires. So, for people out there who use vacuums where the wiring is exposed, that is, and mind you, I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of using a vacuum that had the wire exposed to it. Like I could see the white underneath the black covering. There's a white underneath there, but I could see the wires. Once I saw that, we got rid of it, and now we have way better vacuums. And that also stems from how you take care of the wire itself. Like, you can't just constantly wind up a wire and keep it the same way and then just mishandle it. Otherwise, it'll start to get torn into, and that can expose the wire. And if anything were to happen to that wire while it's also being active, that can cause a problem as well. So when it comes to vacuums, please be careful when you are winding up your cords, making sure that you don't roll over your cords. Like, pick up your vacuum. If your cord is in the way, don't just roll over it. Pick it up. Pick it up. And continue on. I know, Kitty. I know. You ain't even got to say it. When I saw that it was starting to get broken into, yeah, that's when we got rid of it. We didn't keep using it once we saw the exposed wire because it was just dangerous. Because I've seen way too many videos where a single spark from an electrical wire could cause an issue, and I didn't want to have an issue. Once we saw that, we got rid of it, and we got a brand new vacuum, and that vacuum has been amazing. It has been absolutely amazing. Bad wiring within a home. That can also lead to electrical fires that fall into Class C. Equipment that you have inside your kitchen, like let's say an air fryer. Let's say an air fryer that has like exposed wiring near it. That's dangerous. I'm glad y'all tossed it. Yeah, we did. We had to. It was just way too dangerous. And it was like I said, it was a liability. And I like to be safe. So I'm glad we got rid of it. And we have another vacuum downstairs, but that one's fine. That doesn't have any breaks in the cord molding or anything of anything of that kind. So that vacuum downstairs is safe. And the one we got upstairs is safe because I have been providing maintenance and keeping watch on all of our appliances whenever we use them. If something's wrong, I make sure they get corrected because I'm not trying to have anything explode in the house. I'm not trying to have anything go out in the house. If we got bad bulbs, I'm changing those out. Dryers. Yes. Here's one thing that I always constantly do for my dryer. I clean out the lint trap. And mind you, that we have a pull-up lint trap. We pull up the lint trap, and of course, I take all of it out. But I also take a hose and I go into the space where the lint trap is because there can be still residual lint from the clothes you dry deep inside of that lint trap that the lint trap itself will not hold on to. That is incredibly dangerous because dryers get very, very hot. They can get very, very hot. There's a matter of fact, there's a video out there where someone left their dryers, and this was in the dry cleaners, and a man, and it was in, and I think it's got like millions of views. It's a video where a man leaves a dry cleaners, and there's a dryer going on, and literally seconds after, you need to clean the exhaust pipe too. Yeah, I need to do that. It leads outside. Yeah, I need to do that as well. We haven't done it often, but I need to. Because it's not like I can't reattach the pipe back onto the dryer again, but it's very good that we clean that out as well. So I'll probably take care of that today because it needs to be. What would you say? Is this something that needs to be done weekly or monthly? 'Cause if it's something that's weekly, then I don't mind picking up on that again. But if it's something that is monthly, then that's something I need to, put in my calendar to make sure that I take care of every single time. Cause as a person who was working delivery in Best Buy, I've seen my share of dryers and delivered them, put them together and hooked them up and everything. And I've always looked at the parts that we needed in order to hook up the dryer, including the long accordion like spring like hose that extends from the dryer into the wall that leads to the outside where all that excess heat gets outputted. The inside of the dryer, monthly. The main pipe that goes outside, you do 3 to 4 months. Got it. Cool. Thanks. That's something that I'm going to need to take care of. The trap daily or when used. Oh, I do that. I do that every single time it gets used. I take all that and I vacuum all of that dust out. Then I dump all of that lint out. I might need to get a bit of a longer attachment because I can get pretty much the majority of it, but there's always this one little corner that I can't get my hands on. And mind you, it never fills up. Thankfully, it never fills up, but I need to get like a longer extension that can go deeper in there so I can get to the absolute bottom of the lint trap. But I keep the dryer clean as often as I can because that's, like I said, liability. Because dryers can get heated, excessively hot. So it's good to keep your stuff taken because for a lot of people, they don't pay attention to cleaning up. I'm just going to be real. Not everyone looks at the lint trap of their dryer and thinks, "Oh, I ain't got to worry about this." I think about it literally every time, every time, every single time. Just take the panel off. I can do that because what we have is like a Samsung dryer. What we have is a Samsung dryer. Wait, can I take it off? Because I can take the lint trap out, but it doesn't. Can I? Wait, can I take it off? What dryer do we have? I'll have to look at it later. I'll have to look at it later. The bottom panel should pop off. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, so I checked on our dryer downstairs. Now, our panel can't slide out. However, I do see that there are three screws that appear to hold it in place. Two in the front and one in the middle of it. Now, before I do anything, I'm going to look at the instruction manual because we still got those to make sure. But ours doesn't just like pop off because ours is a Samsung dryer and the whole front of it is one hole. It doesn't have like a section where I can just pop the panel off. It's just completely one solid frame on front. But it has two screws in the front and one in the middle that appears to hold it in. I'm probably gonna pop that off and look into that and see if I can get all the way down in there to get that cleaned. Because mind you, it's already been cleaned recently because there's no lint on the lint trap, despite the things that we've been washing and drying lately. So that's fine. But I want to be sure. But yeah, at least I know. At least I know. Yours is a slide out type. Lucky you. Our model doesn't allow for it to be slid out. The trap itself, yes, but not. Okay, it's gone. So yeah. Cleaning the back and the pipe that leads outside. Goodness, the kind that leads outside. And yeah, okay, let's get through this quickly because Kitty, I know you don't have a lot of time. So let's get through these classes real quick. There's that lint. Yeah. As soon as I pulled the grease trap out, I was all like, "We're gonna get a fall in your nose." But let's get through these classes and classes of fires, and then we'll get to tornadoes, and then we'll get to earthquakes. So class C is electrical fires and electrical related stuff, wiring, controls, motors, machinery, or appliances. Dryers included, refrigerators included, microwaves included, anything that basically has wiring. Class D isn't as common, they can be more difficult to extinguish. They typically involve combustible metals such as magnesium, lithium, potassium, and titanium. This type of fire is more commonly seen in laboratories or in other people's laptops. Got a dip at 2, directly at 2. Well, let's go ahead and just get through these fires then, because it's not even 1:30 yet, but I want to make sure that we at least get through one or two categories before you head out. Um, Lithium batteries are in everyone's laptops. There's a reason why they say if your battery starts smoking, take it out of your system immediately. Don't wait, take it out immediately. Because lithium battery explosions are very real, they're very dangerous, and the fires they create are very annoying to put out. Then, when you have lithium batteries, bigger lithium batteries, not in laptops, but in much larger things such as cars, those tend to be some of the most annoying fires for fighters to put out, simply because of its capacity to reignite itself. That's what I was discussing earlier. Lithium batteries are just crazy dangerous. And then lastly, Class K fires. While Class K fires also involve liquids, flammable liquids, these are related to combustible cooking materials such as oils and grease commonly found in kitchens. Class K fires can spread quickly and be the most difficult to manage, especially since water can make the situation worse. So, kitchen fires are very real. I mean, think of that one episode of Fresh Prince when Will was trying to cook and he wound up burning the entirety of the kitchen down. Kitchen fire. Kitchen fires are very real because of how many things in a kitchen are flammable, and they tend to be foods or food related things. Olive oil, grease, fats, all sorts of different substances that reside in the kitchen are very capable of just igniting and causing way more destruction than any of the fires that we discussed. So yeah, that's the Class K fires. So choosing the right type of fire extinguisher. For Class A, you need water or to smother it with a fire extinguisher of water, foam, ABC dry chemical, or halotron. Class B, you have to smother it with CO2, halotron, ABC dry chemical, BC dry chemical, purple K, or foam. With Class C, you need non conductive chemicals with ABC dry chemical, BC dry chemical, purple K, CO2, and halotron. I was about to say this is literally this, but it's just without the foam. Class D, you need dry powder agents. Class D is the fires for basically combustible metals magnesium, lithium, potassium, and titanium. You need powder, specifically powder for that. So dry powder and powder agents. And for Class K, you need to either smother the flames or, use wet chemicals, and specifically a wet chemical fire extinguisher. And of course, it has all of the classifications of what you need for each fire for A, B, C, D, and K. And then, of course, you have like a choosing a fire extinguisher for your home. We have that whole page. Types of fire extinguishers for businesses. How to use a fire extinguisher. Fire and carbon monoxide safety tips. Types of fire extinguishers. What causes constant chirping for your smoke alarm? Also, if you have a smoke alarm and it's chirping right now, change the battery out. It could be the difference between life and death. Something felt like it was just like on my eye. Sorry about that. It was distracting me the entire time I was reading. Stinking long eyelashes. Uh so yeah, red living fire extinguisher, white living area, full home. And this is it for like the different types of fire types and the best thing to use against them. Now, we cut to what to do if a fire starts. Know how to safely operate a fire extinguisher. We have that, but remember to get out, stay out, and call 911 or your local emergency phone number. Yell fire several times and go outside right away. And the thing we need to discuss is this may be a bit of a touchy subject, but we need to address the sense of importancy when it comes to a fire. And what people consider to be important to save during a fire. I mean, frankly, it should be obvious you should get out as soon as possible. You should not be making exceptions on what to save, who to save, while in the middle of a fire. You should be getting out as soon as possible. And I know people probably don't want to hear this, and they probably may not like me if I say this. But if you I got to be careful here because I don't want to sound callous. I really don't. I don't want to sound callous, but it needs to be addressed because these are decisions that some people have had to make, even though they don't like it. But at the end of the day, if I had to choose, and pray it never gets to that point, if I had to choose, want me to say it? No, I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it. If I had to choose between getting my family out or getting our dogs out, I'm getting my family out. As much as and this is nothing against Denim and Kenzo, but if such a thing were to occur, I would make sure that they got out. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, I need to go see Kenzo and Denim and make sure they're good before I go see the rest of my family. I mean, it really should be a bit of a no-brainer, but not everyone thinks that way. Some people think, "Oh, I got enough time." You never know. You don't know. You don't know how quickly the smoke is going to hit you if it's filling up an entire place. You don't know what could what the flames could bar you from exiting from if you decide to, "Oh, let me go pick up Fifi and then I'll meet up with everyone else outside." You need to make sure people are okay. And if you are able to get your dogs and your pets, not just dogs and cats, but your pets in general, hey, that's fine. But if the decision had to be made where you had to choose between a human life and a pet life, I want to say it's fairly obvious. I know this is a bit of a serious thing to bring up, but not everyone contemplates these things and thinks about how important it is to be ready for such a decision. So yeah, I'm sorry if I kind of brought down the mood a little bit, but it has to be said. It has to be said. If you had to choose between your pets and people, I hope you choose people. Like, get everybody out of the house and make sure everyone's okay. And like I said, getting the pets out, if you're able, while you're getting everyone else out, that is feasible, but it should not be your immediate go-to. You should be making sure that the people are fine. PETA, have at 'em. Bring it on, because I'm tell you this, people like me more than PETA, so they ain't got nothing on me. They'll be all right. For you know what? PETA's a whole different matter altogether. I'm not even going to get off into them, because every single person that's over on that entire organization are morons. But so yeah, yell fire several times and go outside right away. If you live in a building with elevators, use the stairs, because the last thing you need is for a fire to break out in an elevator, the fire to get to the elevator, the fire to literally burn through the cables that's holding up the elevator, and then you probably have the quickest way down to the bottom of the building at that point. You're not wrong? Of course I'm not. These are the same idiots that said, like, why does Nintendo have a bull as a character in Mario Kart World with a have a cow with a bull ring in its nose? Don't they know that's a mistreatment of the cow? And I'm like, you, it's 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 a video game cow. How are you so stupid? But yeah, we're not getting off into PETA, because they're anything they say, don't take seriously, because they are not the leading people. They're not the leading people when it comes to animal care, because they're the same, because they euthanize more cats and dogs than any other place in the world. Crazy, isn't it? For the ethical treatment of animals, uh, you sure like to make sure that you get rid of them, because you feel it's better for them to be dead than to be in the hands of other people. And ain't it weird? Ain't it weird that that's their ideology? We rather the pets be dead than be with the owner. And we see ownership of pets as slavery. What? What? You got to be dumb. What is this video? Oh no, I'm just speaking a little bit about PETA, even though we're supposed to be talking about safety in certain natural disaster situations. Just PETA constantly being an example of stupidity that somehow still gets funding. People that don't have issues will create issues to stay relevant. They're relevant. I know they exist, but no one cares. The same way no one cares about High Guard, because that game is coming out next week. Let's see. If closed doors or handles are warm or smoke blocks your primary escape route, use your second way out. Never open doors that are warm to the touch. That should be important as well. Having a secondary escape route if the first route does not work out. Because you can't always count on the first route to always be clear, because you got to be prepared. If you must escape through smoke, get low and go under the smoke to your exit. Close doors behind you. If smoke, heat, or flames block your exit routes, stay in the room with doors closed. Place a wet towel under the door and call the fire department or 911. Open a window and wave a brightly colored cloth or flashlight to signal for help. Once you are outside, go to your meeting place and then send one person to call the fire department. If you cannot get to your meeting place, follow your family emergency communication plan. You have three exits? Excellent. Excellent. I believe we have 3 as well. We haven't gone over them, but there are 3 exits in our home. So, We have ways out. We just need to get prepared one day. For if you get violent, we got several if we want to get violent and get out the house. Because a chair is going to go through a window if the doors won't open. I'm going to casually roll up the blinds. Because just in case we can save the blinds, I'm going to casually roll up the blinds. And the chair's going through the window. Oh, what is this video about? We are discussing how to be safe in these situations. In fires, in tornadoes, and in earthquakes. Because not a lot of people have this sort of information or were even taught this amount of information. So we're just discussing how to be safe in these situations in general. So this is for fires. If your clothes catch fire, stop what you're doing, drop to the ground, and cover your face if you can. Roll over and over or back and forth until the flames go out. Running will only make the fire burn faster because you're giving the fire more oxygen to grow. And then, of course, we have fire safety and preparedness resources, more than 2,000 lives saved, and different topics, fire safety equipment, prepare for a home fire, recovery after a home fire. That is for fires. And mind you, once the flames are out, cool the burned skin with water for 3 to 5 minutes, call for medical attention. Sorry, I forgot to go over that. So this is what to do if a fire starts and how to respond during. Give me a sec. All right, let's see. We got 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Let's touch tornadoes next. Yes, we're going in order because I got fires there, then I got tornadoes, and then earthquakes will be after. I'll go over the information because I'm not terribly too knowledgeable about earthquakes as a whole. So I'm really just going to just stick with what information I have and then just talk a little bit about that. This isn't going to be like an overly long stream, like maybe an hour, maybe possibly an hour, but it's not going to be like several hours long of discussing this because I'm not a professional in dealing with all of these, so I am not the person to go to. It's just subjects that need to be addressed because not everyone knows how to deal with them should situations occur. So, let's move on to tornadoes. As a person who lived in Tornado Valley, Oklahoma, in his youth, I am very well aware of the dangers of tornadoes. So we have tornado safety. We have safety tornado watch versus warning, prepare for a tornado, during a tornado, and after a tornado. And given the fact that we watched a tornado of, what was it, El Reno? I think it was El Reno. The tornado that tore through that town. It was a massive E5. It was a massive E5. Just the devastation it left behind. The people that were missing after it happened. Tornadoes are incredibly dangerous. The first and most important thing to know about tornadoes is if the tornado doesn't appear to be moving, it is probably heading towards you. If you're looking at a tornado and it doesn't look like it's moving to the left or the right and it's not getting smaller, it's probably heading towards you. And you probably need to leave. That's a scary thing. If the tornado is in place, it means it's either moving away from you or towards you. Because there's no such thing as a tornado that stays in one place. There's no such thing. You only see that in movies and you only see that in cartoons. Tornadoes, they only go in one direction. They're literally driven by the wind. But if a tornado looks like it's not moving at all, you probably need to get out of there. Even if it's moving away from you, you still need to get out. It's like, oh, it's moving away from me. I'm safe now. No. So that's pretty much one of the bases of tornadoes. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So take shelter too. Exactly. So real quick, continue to listen to, find out what you need to do when a tornado strikes. This is tornado safety. All right, a tornado is a violently rotating column of air extending from the base of a thunderstorm down to the ground. Tornadoes are capable of completely destroying well-made structures, uprooting trees, and hurling objects through the air like deadly missiles. Tornadoes can occur at any time of day or night and at any time of the year. Any time of the year. It's not like, oh, it's tornado month, like Shark Month. No, these things can happen any time of the year. Though I have never heard of a tornado happening during a snowstorm, but I could be wrong. I might need to look that up later. Although tornadoes are most common in the Central Plains and the southeastern United States, they have been reported in all 50 states, which means that, bro, slow down. We got kids listening. Oh, I'm sorry, children. I'm sorry. A tornado is a violently rotating column of air extending from the base of a thunderstorm down to the ground. Tornadoes are capable of completely destroying well-made structures, uprooting trees, and hurling objects through the air like deadly missiles. Tornadoes can occur at any time of day or night and at any time of the year. Although tornadoes are most common in the Central Plains and the southeastern United States, they have been reported in all 50 states. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot that children may have been watching as well, so I can't just speed read. Website is designed to teach you how to stay safe when a tornado threatens. If you know what to do before, during, and after a tornado, you will minimize your risk of injury and increase your chance of survival. You'll also find links for research, past events, yada yada. So, safety, tornado watch versus tornado warning. Tornado terminology. Tornado watch. Weather conditions. Oh, you ain't gonna even let me read that? Excuse you. I'm trying to read that. Thank you. Weather conditions could lead to the formation of severe storms and tornadoes. Be prepared. Know your safe If you don't stop going to a different image! Know your safe location. Be ready to act quickly if a warning is issued or you suspect a tornado is approaching. I'm gonna go down here because y'all jokers is messing with me because I'm trying to read, be informative because I got children's listening and I can't even read what they saying. Can you stop? Can you stop? What is the difference between a tornado watch, a tornado warning, and a tornado emergency? The National Weather Service has 3 key alerts to watch out for. Tornado watch, be prepared. Tornadoes are possible in and near the watch area. Review and discuss your emergency plans, take inventory of your supplies, and check your safe room. Be ready to act quickly if a warning is issued or you suspect a tornado is approaching. That happened one year when I was playing Marvel's Avengers when the Black Panther DLC came out. We had a massive storm come through, and we had not only a tornado warning, but also a tornado watch. And I had to end my stream in the middle of it because the winds were whipping about. It was lighter outside than it was when the storm started, and everything was being tossed around my neighborhood. So I remember being in those moments. Let's see. Acting early helps. Be ready to act quickly if a warning is issued or you suspect a tornado is approaching. Acting early helps to save lives. Watches are issued by the Storm Prediction Center for counties where tornadoes may occur. The watch area is typically large, covering numerous counties or even states. Tornado warning. Take action. A tornado has been sighted or indicated. I couldn't even say the word indicated. Sorry. Remember when you were sat on by the tornado? I remember you telling us about that story too. A tornado warning. Take action. A tornado has been sighted or indicated by weather radar. There is imminent danger to life and property. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If in a mobile home, a vehicle, or outdoors, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Because the speeds in which a tornado can move is capable of literally lifting cars up off the ground, people up off the ground, buildings ripping trees off the ground, and out of literally uprooting entire trees. Trees! You can't even move a tree with your bare hand. None of us are Kratos. None of us are Superman. None of us are the Hulk. So none of us can just casually move a tree and rip it up out of the ground. But tornadoes can easily do it because that's how quickly the winds move. And if it can lift a car and throw cars, yeah, lift entire buildings and just rip them apart. Because have you ever seen a tornado spin to the point where you see the shingles off of a roof literally just get pulled off of the roof? Just like they're sheets of paper on a table, and you just took a fan to the table and you just see the paper just fly off. That is literally the pulling strength of a tornado. The EF5, not E5, EF5, thank you. The EF5 in Alabama shifted a whole hospital. That's how powerful a tornado can be. This is wind. This is the air moving quick enough and strong enough to literally move an entire hospital complex. This is wind. So getting back to this, if in a mobile home, because we need to get through tornadoes before you head out, I got 10 minutes. Avoid windows. If in a mobile home, a vehicle, or outdoors, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Because anything that gets picked up by a tornado is essentially a bullet, regardless of the size. If it's small, that thing might as well be shot out of a railgun. And a railgun is a very powerful gun because it uses electromagnetism to launch objects at incredibly high speeds. Now, imagine a tornado picking up a golf ball. Normally, if you throw a golf ball at a person's head, it's not enough to, crack the skin. Possibly bruise them heavily and leave a big old bump on there. But with the power of a tornado, that golf ball turns into a projectile that can, due to the fact that there could be children around, it's a golf ball that is capable of putting you on a milk carton very quickly. Have you on a t-shirt saying, remember, insert person's name here. And these are just small things. Bigger things are way more dangerous because the bigger the object, the more likely you become past tense. Warnings are issued by your local forecast office, and I keep putting my finger like this. Local, emphasize it with my finger. I do a lot of gesturing. I'm sorry. They know the fact, let it loose? Oh, okay. So a golf ball is capable of taking your head off if you ain't careful, depending on the speeds of which tornadoes move. The smaller the object, the more dangerous to your person. Give me a sec. Family's calling in. All right, I'm back. Had to talk to some family members. It's all good. Thank you, Kitty, for giving us some tornado tips. Well, oh wait, sorry, looking at the wrong thing here. There we go. I couldn't tell if it was still on the screen. But yeah, I know it's getting around that time when you need to go. So thank you for the tips that you had earlier. The radar doesn't always show the tornado. The sky and its movements can tell you too. The smell too, that hot, sour, and humid smell right before it hits. And just because the sky is blue doesn't mean lightning can't hit you. Off topic, but still important. That's also very important. Like how to, avoid being in a lightning storm and avoiding. Because here's the thing, trees will not protect you from lightning. In fact, I feel like it would actually make you more susceptible to it. Because I saw a video of someone standing underneath a tree during a lightning storm, and the tree struck and the lightning struck the tree, and those people were hit. Mind you, they're still alive, but they kind of got grazed. Let's see. Just because finally there are four parts to a tornado and getting through it. One, the initial headwind. The wind before the actual tornado will hit you first, then the tornado. And which is scary because the wind itself from a tornado is already substantially powerful, which means the winds will grow even worse the closer you get to it. Two, if you're hit head on, the first half of the tornado will go over, then a brief 5 to 10-second lag, and then the next wall will hit. Three, do not move unless the air is calm. Gotta go now. Thank you, Kitty. And four, try not to panic, because it's very easy to see how people behave in these tornado movies and think that it's it's a meaningful way, or it helps if you scream, which it doesn't. It just makes people more frantic, and it causes people to be even less calm. So those are Kitty's tips as one who has been through a tornado. So I can't think of, that's the hard one. Try not to panic, because you're literally seeing the world around you being ripped up when you have absolutely no way to stop it. So of course, panic can in fact sit in. So it's always good to keep a level head as often as possible, so that it's not just for your sake, but for the sake of those around you. Because if you're panicking, then it can give way to other people panicking. And if there are no calm people in the group, someone's got to be the anchor. All right, Kitty, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you being here for this. I am going to touch on earthquakes, but that's probably not going to be overly long. I will just basically go over the basics of earthquakes and read through what Rock said, then say my piece, and then I'm out as well. So it's probably not going to be probably not going to be too much longer. But I do want to thank you for all the help of getting this sort of thing formalized, because I've talked to my moderators, and specifically I talked to Kitty concerning this talk as well, because it's very important for people to have this knowledge. And mind you, I told you I am not a professional when it comes to knowing in and everything. That's the reason why I'm looking it up. But I feel like it's important for people to know about these things and how to behave during them, just in case, because you never know. The weather of this world has been so incredibly unpredictable in just the last month alone, that I feel that we all should be prepared for the unpredictable. We should be prepared we should be prepared for the unprecedented, or at least have a mindset of being prepared for an eventuality of any kind. So I think it's important for us to be safe out there. And this doesn't even touch on vehicular safety, because that's going to be a session in and all on its own, because people, I don't know what's wrong with people and how they seem to think that they own the road. Let me just speed through traffic. Let me just go 10 miles over the speed limit, because I don't want to be behind this one person who's driving the speed limit, because apparently where I'm trying to go also has legs. So that means I need to rush to get there, even though the vast majority of places people go to doesn't get up and go someplace else. because I'm of the mentality I'm not rushing to get where I'm going because where I'm going isn't going anywhere. I've kept that mindset ever since I've first got my driver's license. So that'll be a conversation all on its own. But lastly, about understanding tornado alerts, tornado emergency, seek shelter immediately. A tornado emergency is the National Weather Service's highest alert level. You do not want to see this pop up on your screen, on your TV, or on your phone, just in case. I'll turn now. Good luck, everybody else. Right, right. People who see, I gotta hold back. I gotta hold back because I got a whole tangent about people who are not capable of driving on the road and how much of a danger it puts on everyone else. Like, you can't use your side mirrors to see who's coming behind you. You literally have to look over your shoulder because your side view mirrors do not show your blind spot. If you're looking at your side view mirror and you don't see anyone and you try to move, but there's someone so close that they weren't actually in your mirror and you're just looking at the mirror and not looking over your shoulder, that's that could cause an accident. So the vehicular safety is going to require a whole session all on its own by itself. I'll probably talk about it at the next customer states compilation because we have November and December of 2025 that we haven't done because I reacted in November for the September October compilations. So we got the November December ones to check out. So we'll definitely be having a session this week for customer states. That might actually be the one that we do tomorrow because I was thinking, what am I going to do on Tuesday? Because Thursday and Friday are pretty much going to be very open. Well, not open, but they're going to be busy because I got Hunter x Hunter on no, I got Hunter x Hunter and the newest One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 DLC dropping on Thursday. And I also have the Code Vein 2 character creator demo that's going to be dropping on Friday. So I feel like going over customer states tomorrow, Laura said the same, would probably be a good place to talk about vehicular safety as well, while we're just looking at the absurdity of people who pull into the mechanic with some of the most ridiculous excuses for their vehicles to be fixed or reasons for them to say, I don't want any repairs. Let me go back on the road with this gasoline filled death trap. So, yeah, we'll definitely discuss it again tomorrow. But a tornado emergency is the National Weather Service's highest alert level. It is issued when a violent tornado has touched down in the watch area. There is a severe threat to human life and property, with catastrophic damage confirmed. Immediately seek refuge in the safest location possible. Call friends and family who are within the watch area to ensure they are aware of the situation. If you see a tornado approaching, do not attempt to outrun it in a vehicle. Shelter in place. Once safe, be sure to monitor your local forecast for the latest updates because the tornado itself is not the issue. It is the wind and everything else that is literally around the tornado that you need to be wary of. It's not just the actual physical tornado that's at the center of everything. It is literally the winds it is ripping up around it, which move faster than a vehicle. So trying to drive a vehicle and try to get away from a tornado is incredibly dangerous. Like we witnessed with the El Reno tornado, where some people tried to actually run from the tornado and they did not make it. So, yeah. So prepare for a tornado. The links below. Be weather ready. Sign up for notifications. Create a communications plan. Practice your plan. Prepare your home. And help your neighbor, which seems to be something that is severely lacking in the world today. It's just the capacity to want to help your neighbor, because a lot of people have it in their heads of like, what's in it for me if I help you out? And it's like, I don't really talk to my neighbor. Well, I don't think I need to really worry about them. There should be a level of compassion from people where they want to help out the people around them. You know, just being neighborly. Like, would Mr. Rogers would be so disappointed with how people treat other people nowadays. So, helping your neighbor, I want to say, is by far one of the most important things in this matter, because you never know. If their house gets squashed and they rebuild it and you didn't help them, not everyone has the capacity to want to, help the person that they didn't get help from when they were in need. I'm not saying that's how it is, but it's like you don't want to be in that situation. So, help people out. You can save lives if you help. So that's taking shelter. Let's see. During a tornado, stay home, stay weather ready. Continue to listen to local news or NOAA weather radio to stay updated about tornado watches and warnings. If you're at your house, if you are in a tornado warning, go to your basement, safe room, or an interior room away from windows. Don't forget pets if time allows. At your workplace or school, follow your tornado drill and proceed to your tornado shelter location quickly and calmly. Stay away from windows and do not go to large open rooms such as cafeterias, gymnasiums, or auditoriums. Because if something happens to the roof and there's people crowded within these places, that roof is coming down on all of those people in there, and not all of them are going to be able to get out in time, and it could suffer a loss of life. So it's better to be in a smaller room where it's far more manageable than a bigger room where there's plenty of people. There's kids who don't know how to properly or mentally prepare for a tornado. They're screaming all over the place because they're scared. Panic is everywhere. These places are the worst places for children to be during a severe weather emergency such as this. Outside, seek shelter inside a sturdy building immediately if a tornado is approaching. And that's if you're already outside. Sheds and storage facilities are not safe. Neither is a mobile home or tent. If you have time, get to a safe building. A building that has a solid foundation that looks incredibly sturdy. Because sheds can get just picked up off the ground as if it was like a just like a giant hand coming down and picking it up. That's how easy sheds and storage facilities can be messed up by the winds of a tornado. If you're in a vehicle, being in a vehicle during a tornado is not safe. The best course of action is to drive to the closest shelter. If you are unable to make it to a safe shelter, either get down in your car and cover your head, or abandon your car and seek shelter in a low-lying area such as a ditch or ravine. And then after a tornado, stay informed, contact your family and loved ones, assess the damage, and also, once again, help your neighbor. Because the devastation, like, look at this. Childress, Texas, high school gym after a May 2006 EF1. This is the damage a EF1 has done. The gym, the side of the building is gone. The roof of the building is gone. This is the first tier of tornado. And what did I just say about gymnasiums being very dangerous? All of that could have led to injury if there was a whole bunch of faculty, staff, and children inside of this gymnasium. Having the entire wall ripped out, having the entire roof ripped off. This is just the first type of tornado, the first level of tornado. EF1. EF5 is literally Avengers level events in terms of natural disasters. But yeah, that is tornado. Now, onwards to earthquakes. Now, this one I am not entirely knowledgeable about, so I'm only going to read what they put, and then I'm going to cut over to what Rox, our residential seismologist, has said about what to do with earthquakes. I'll say my piece, and then I'll bring this whole session to the end. How long have I been doing this session? How long has it been? Has it been like an hour and a half? I feel like it's been like an hour and a half. Yeah, it feels like it's been like a little bit of time. So, getting started. What should I do during an earthquake? If you are indoors, well, let's just cut to the basis of what an earthquake is. It is literally the earth moving, tectonic plates shifting underground, which has can lead to either minor slight bumps across the land to full on geological shiftings of entire regions all in one go. And sometimes there's aftershocks where you get, the after effects of a earthquake happening once again that can cause even more damage again, still. What should I do during an earthquake? If you are indoors, stay there. Get under a desk or table and hang on to it. Drop cover and hold on, or move into a hallway or against an inside wall. Stay clear of windows, fireplaces, and heavy furnitures or appliances. Get out of the kitchen, which is a dangerous place because things can fall on you, like open cabinets, cups, knives, all sorts of different things can fall on you and cause injuries to you. Do not run downstairs or rush outside while the building is shaking or while there is danger of falling and hurting yourself or being hit by falling glass or debris. Give me a sec. I'll be right back. All right, let's see. If your neighbors are looking at you doing well, that breeds resentment. That's just the real world. We're communal creatures. What does that got to do? What does that got to do with earthquakes? What's that got to do with earthquakes? Let me see. There's danger of falling and hurting yourself or being hit by falling glass or debris. If you are outside, get into the open, away from buildings, power lines, chimneys, and anything else that might fall on you. If you are driving, stop, but carefully. Move your car as far out of traffic as possible. Do not stop on or under a bridge or overpass or under trees, light posts, power lines, or signs. Stay inside your car until the shaking stops. When you resume driving, watch for breaks in the pavement, fallen rocks, and bumps in the road at bridge approaches. Going back to helping your neighbor? Yeah, I mean, you are right. You are right. You are right. When you resume driving, watch for breaks in the pavement, fallen rocks, and bumps in the road at bridge approaches. If you are in a mountainous area, watch out for fallen rocks, landslides, trees, and other debris that could be loosened by quakes. If you are near the ocean, see the safety rules for NOAA's Tsunami Warning Center. So, the thing with earthquakes is, I got to cut over to what Rox was discussing. Now, mind you, this is probably best if I just put it full screen because I'm not going to put the whole Discord chat up on the screen for you guys to see. So that enables me to still see chat, but I'm going to pull up what Rox has told us and go through all of that because it does need to be discussed because we specifically asked him about it. So let me see. I think he put it in either TV or movies, but I think he put it in general. Let me see. Where Where did he put it? Where did he put it? I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Hold on. I'm gonna search for it. Awesome. Oh, perfect. Sorry. It was in the moderators channel. Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. There it is. Okay, found it. All right. So what Rock says, level or magnitude in quakes differs depending on the region, depth, and size. How to respond to them differs with the information above. For minor quakes, 0.1 to 3.9 is considered minor. During this size quake, hiding under a desk or in a sturdy and broad doorway is considered safe. 4.0 to 6.9 is considered a moderate quake. Here, objects can be thrown from their place and cause injury. Under a desk or propped up against a structural support wall, free from loose items, is safest. If you're outside, stay away from buildings and railways. They can collapse if not structurally sound. Tsunamis can occur if the region, depth, and magnitude are right. 7.0 to 8.9 is considered a major quake. Extreme damage to structures, liquefaction, ground deformation, and many more scenarios are capable of happening. During quakes this size, depending on the depth, no place is safe. Objects hundreds and thousands of pounds can be thrown, killing anyone in their path. If you're inside, it's best to hide under something to protect yourself. Yes, the danger of the building collapsing is still there, but in the words of my DSO, you'd be dead before the building fell on you. Then there's 9.0 and above. Basically, everything in this category is mythical and catastrophic. In a quake this size, it wouldn't matter if it's hundreds of miles away, it'd still be violent. Buildings would fall, ground would become water, mountains can move. So continuing on, when asked to do in a 9.0, I'd brace myself under a desk that's up against a support wall and wait for it to end, but that could take minutes. And then, of course, explaining such things as such as P and S waves. P and S waves are the waves in an earthquake. The P waves come first. They are fast and aggressive, usually not causing much damage. The S waves come next. They are slower and more dangerous. A lot of the major quakes will have many rotations of these waves in its life. So, minor quakes from 0.1, simply hiding under a desk and a broad doorway is safe. From 0.1 to 3.9. 4.0 to 6.9 is a moderate quake, which tends to have the capacity of throwing objects around you and causing structural damage to buildings, if not structurally sound, and tsunamis can occur. 7.0 to 8.9 is a major quake, extreme damage to structures, liquefaction, ground deformation, and many more scenarios are capable in all sorts of different things. Tsunamis produced from these earthquakes are substantially far more dangerous. And quakes of this size, there's really no safe place to go during these because they are that dangerous. And then, of course, there's 9.0, which is considered the inconceivable range. The inconceivable range of danger for an earthquake when entire mountain ranges can move. Mountain ranges can move, buildings would just straight up fall over, ground would become water. Just like during the 2012 movie, where you see all of those, the entire San Andreas fault just straight up splitting, and you see the entirety of entire sections of land just upheaving and then sliding into the sea. That is what would be classified as a 9.0, an event of absolutely catastrophic and inhuman proportions in terms of environmental damage. Now, mind you, like I said before, my only experience is pretty much what you would go through with like the first tier, which is 0.1 to 3.9, where it was just so minor that nothing happened. It was just like a slight shaking in the ground, but nothing fell over, nothing, barely anything moved at all. That's the only one I've ever been in. And I do not want to go through anything more intense than that. Mind you, there are many other places around the world that are really going through a lot of these different quakes. And when it comes to different islands and island nations, like Japan comes to mind, they are literally surrounded by water. So if there's any earthquakes in their area, they have to prepare for any tsunamis that come through produced by these earthquakes, regardless of size, because they're susceptible from all sides, from everywhere. So, and like I said, I'm not an expert when it comes to earthquakes. I can only just go off of what the magnitude is and what best to do. And mind you, this is all thanks to rocks. And I kind of felt like this entire earthquake section was not going to be overly long. But obviously, you should not be putting yourself in a situation where if you're in the middle of an earthquake, you think you can outrun an earthquake, because earthquakes stretch on for miles. It's not just the area you're in, it is literally under the miles underground, affecting the ground up top. So there's really nowhere you can go that you can just outdrive it. This isn't like an action disaster film where you can just outrun it and you can get away and then you're safe. This isn't Greenland. It's just you you can't treat these natural disasters as if they're action movie situations where, well, if my plot armor lasts long enough, then I should be fine. It's literally not that at all. So when it comes to all of these situations, as I close out with this, because like I said, I can only say so much about earthquakes because I don't know everything about them and how best to prepare for them. Just just the best thing you can do is just kind of hide and brace yourself when it comes to an earthquake. It's not like you can find a shelter, because shelters are not even safe, because if shelters were built to withstand earthquakes, I mean, it'd be listed. We don't have any earthquake proof places. There's places that are kind of structurally prepared so that when earthquakes happen, they don't get messed up, such as installing springs within the foundation of the building so that it takes the recoil of the earthquake so that the building itself stays sound. But I mean, there's not much else you can do except like just wait it out as best you can, because you can't outrun it because it's literally the entire ground underneath you. So that's earthquakes. Now, from fires to tornadoes to earthquakes, this is just a little bit something I wanted to bring to your attention, because like I said, not every nation feels it necessary to teach children this, because their nations don't go through some of this at all. So no one thinks it's important to teach anyone this. And I felt it was. Now, I'm not a teacher. I'm not in the educational system at all. Matter of fact, I want to stay away from the educational system as much as possible because I hate math. But I felt it was important to have this session. You do not have plot armor. You are not Brad Pitt, so you can't outrun it. Yeah, you're not Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise be trying to outrun everything. Remember, he was outrunning the chemical agent whipping through the air, and he was trying to outrun the smoke. You're not Tom Cruise. You can't outrun everything. But I just felt it was important to have this session because not everybody knows. Not everybody knows how to deal with something like fires in the home or fires wherever you are. Not everyone knows how to deal with tornadoes, what to do when the tornado's in your area, or how to do any of this, or how to do any of that. Not everyone knows how to treat these situations and how to be prepared for them. So I felt it was necessary to bring this up. And if anyone in the future happens to look at this and I've missed anything, if anyone outside of who's here, Brad Pitt was World War Z, no? Right. But apparently that wasn't a good adaptation for that series, so I don't know. But if there's anyone else who watches that happens to come across this stream and find it interesting, and you sat through all the way to the end, despite my many breaks in between, and I missed anything incredibly important, please put it down in the comments down below so people can know as well. And if I happen to, along with any other comments that you may have, but if you have any important comments, if you have any important info that pertains with all three things that we talked about today, then please put them down in the comments down below. And then, so that people can be informed, because people need to know this stuff. This is important stuff. So yeah, be sure to do that. But that's all I got for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. I am surprised I made it close to 2 hours for this session. I thought it was going to be like maybe an hour and a half, but apparently there was just so much to go over and so much to discuss. There's still more things to discuss, such as like tsunamis and other things, but that'll be another day at another time. But that's all I got for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. I am about to cut the oven on so I can eat some pizza and then get back on Warframe, because I am locked in playing Warframe right now. I am really locked in. I killed another Kuva Lich, and I got this insanely strong bow, the Kuva Braum bow, that I am currently leveling. And yeah, I'm gonna keep working on Warframe because I'm locked in right now. But that's all I got. Designs, Kitty, Halster, anyone else who showed up here today, thank you for tuning in to my session of discussing what to do during all of this. And I believe, yeah, Hybrid was here as well as Ravi. Everyone who showed up here today, thank you for tuning in to me just discussing these the best way I know how. And I hope to see you guys in the next thing I do. With that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even consider checking out my Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!